Hello, Algebra. Coming to you with your quiz, section 9. The last assignment you guys have before spring break. Woo! And I'll go over probably half of these. It's a tough quiz. It was a tough section. Okay. So for the first one, we're looking for the y-intercept and the zeros. So again, the y-intercept is where x equals 0. The zeros, that's our x-intercept. That's where y equals 0. Okay, so for the y-intercept, that is f of 0 equals 6, well, x equals 0 squared minus 5, 0 minus 6. Okay, so f of 0 equals, let's see, that's 0 minus 0 minus 6. So that's our y-intercept. Again, that's going to be x is 0, comma, negative 6. If we wanted to be most specific. Now our zeros, our x-intercepts, that's a little bit more complicated. First, what I'm going to try is I'm actually going to try a diamond problem. So 6 times negative 6 is negative 36. And negative 5 on the bottom. So I know my larger number is going to be negative because they're subtracting. And only one of them is negative, right? Because when you multiply them, it's positive. So that's positive, and that's negative. Okay, so let's see. 36, negative 18 times 2. No. Negative 12 times 3. No, that would be negative 9. Ooh, what about negative 9 times 4? Ding, ding, ding. So negative 9 times positive 4 equals 36. Negative 9 plus 4 is negative 5. But this is AC method, so I've got to plug those bad boys in. So I've got 6x squared plus 4x minus 9x minus 6x. The reason why I did this is I'm trying to keep my positives with my positives and negatives with my negatives. Out of this first bit, I could get 2x, leaving me with 3x plus 2. Out of this second bit, I could get minus 3. Oh, this should just be minus 6, not minus 6x, my bad. Forgive-moi. So minus 3, leaving me with 3x minus 2. So my two factors are 2x minus 3, and then 3x plus 2. But these are my zeros, so they equal 0. So now I'm going to take each term individually and set it equal to 0. I'm going to do that over here because I've got a little bit more space. So I've got 2x minus 3 equals 0, and 3x plus 2 equals 0. I'm going to solve this one, adding 3 plus 3. 2x equals 3, so x equals 3 halves. Here, this is my second one. I'm going to subtract 2. That's going to give me 3x equals negative 2. Divide by 3. X equals negative 2 over 3. Okay, so my y-intercept is 0, comma, negative 6. And my x-intercepts, I've got 2 of them, is at 3 halves, comma, 0, and negative 2 over 3 comma 0. So here is my answer. A lot of work. Okay. I'll let you guys solve number 2. Same process, plugging in 0 for x to solve that, and then setting this equal to 0 to solve the other business. Let's move on. Okay, 3 and 4, good grief. So this is we're just using variables. We're just trying to track trends. I'm going to go over these with you guys. Okay, so if we have this, right, this is kind of just a standard formula, and it's saying if A is positive and C is negative, how many real zeros will we have? Well, let me just look at this, a grid, to see what it's trying to say. So if A, right, we have ax squared, ax squared plus bx plus c. And if A is positive, but we have a negative sign here, right, because our C is negative, well, that just means that our C is going to be down here somewhere. But if our A is positive, that means that it's going to go up. So if our C is here and we're going up, that means we have 1, 2 zeros. So how many zeros will we have? 2. Okay, now number 4 is crazy confusing. I'll just tell you that the answer is A is less than 0. So that means A is negative, right? So this was the number 3 where we were looking at that. Number 4, we're kind of looking at this guy, right? This is the graphing form. This is standard form. If K is negative, for what values of A will leave us with no real zeros? What it's saying is that in this case, our K is negative, and we need to have a downward facing, because a downward facing parabola, because we want to have, like it says, no real zeros. So what's going to give us no real zeros? If we don't cross the x-axis, so we need to have a downward facing parabola. The only way that will happen is if our A is negative. Okay, aren't you glad I did that for you guys? Okay. Number 5, let P of x equal that. Let it represent the profit function. So that's profit for manufacturing a particular RV. X represents how many you produce monthly. How many RVs, X, should be produced to maximize profit? They call it P of X. What is the profit? So what we're looking for here is our vertex. Now we remember that vertex equals H comma K. And let me give you guys a little hint. H equals negative B over 2A, right? These are in our notes yesterday. And K equals, in this case, it's P of H. So you can plug in this information, and this will tell you how many to make. So I'm shaking. How many are these to make? And this, the K, the P of H, will show us the amount, the profit. Okay. Go ahead, plug it in, do the work on your own. Compound inequality to state the range of the number of RVs that should be sold each month for the company to make profit. So again, we have a negative A. So our parabola is going to look something like this. Well, if this is our axis, the company doesn't want to make this, nor do they want to make that. They want to stick to this field right about here. And this is actual real world math. There are companies even now, during all this crazy, who are trying to do stuff like this to figure out what's the least amount we should make, and also what's the most amount that we should make. People are actually doing this. Basically, what you need to do: solve for your zeros, and it'll look like this. It'll look like this amount, the least, whatever it is, x less than the most. That's what your answer is going to look like. Give me these two numbers, and that'll be perfect. All right, guys. Enjoy your spring break. Love you all. Bye.